Proud privilege in inviting on stage our distinguished chair and moderator and also the keynote speaker of the session, Mr. Amarjeet Kumar, founder and CEO, Cominent Private Limited. Let's put our hands together, ladies and gentlemen, to welcome sir. I also invite our keynote speaker for this session, Mr. Paramjeet Singh Puri, Global Director of Membership Wi-Fi Alliance. Warm welcome to you, sir. Also inviting our eminent panelists, Mr. Hirul Modi, Technical Product and Program Management, Wireless Carriers, Meta. Once again, a warm welcome, sir. Mr. Bharat Bhatia, President ITU APT. Very warm welcome to you, sir. Mr. Kalyan Chakravarti, Head Systems Engineering, India and SAC, Ruckus. Warm welcome, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, a warm welcome to the panel discussion session 1 on enablers for Wi-Fi proliferation in India. And we begin this session with the keynote address by our chair and moderator of the session, Mr. Amarjeet Kumar, founder and CEO, Cominent Private Limited.
So good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for the organizers. Thanks for the invite. So warm welcome to all the guests here and all the dignitaries here. Since we are talking about Wi-Fi, it brings down some, I need to basically go down to my memory lane, where I remember in my engineering days, Wi-Fi used to be one of the promising and prominent communication technologies we were learning actually, right? So we started from there and we are here today. I remember 2007 when the first, 1997 when the first Wi-Fi standard was released, and the first Wi-Fi certified device was in somewhere in 1999. So while we had in 1997 first 802.11 standards published, I still remember that there were companies developing those products and they were not interoperable, and that's where Wi-Fi Alliance came into the picture. So today we are celebrating Wi-Fi Day, so we must remember, or we must be grateful to the IEEE Alliance, IEEE Association or Standard Association, who is the key, and from where all these standards what we are talking about has come. Also thankful to Wi-Fi Alliance. Without that, whatever we are seeing today was not possible, because just having a standard released from IEEE does not make success guarantee, the very reason that the standards are not interoperable. Someone needs to make it interoperable. And that is what Wi-Fi have done. Wi-Fi have shown us a path. It has been a guiding light for all other future alliances which has come, how to achieve interoperability, how to scale the whole system. And that's where we have seen over past 20-25 years what Wi-Fi Alliance have given to us. So congratulations to everyone, and thankful to Wi-Fi Alliance. So we have seen these days today where we are seeing not millions, I think billions of devices every year which is being shipped for Wi-Fi. So what we see in the past 25 years of journey of Wi-Fi Alliance, what we are seeing is from 802.11, which we called Wi-Fi 0, and now we are talking about Wi-Fi 6, Wi-Fi 7, and Wi-Fi 8. From 1 to 11 megabits, we are talking about gigabits now. So that is a journey what we have come up so far, and that's really remarkable. Even today, if we go back to home without Wi-Fi, and previous panelists have made comments on that, so I will not go into that, the importance and the uses of Wi-Fi. I think everyone, we all are, without Wi-Fi, there is no phone today without Wi-Fi. The first phone, mobile phone, I think in 2003, the first mobile phone was released with a Wi-Fi, and today, and I can proudly say that without that Wi-Fi coming into the phone, we would not have seen the growth of Wi-Fi in the mobile phone itself, because the internet came through that Wi-Fi into the phone, and what we are using today is because of that Wi-Fi. So if you just remove the Wi-Fi from the phone, everything goes away from your life. All the IoT applications, your Zomato, Swiggy, whatever we are talking about, everything goes away, right? So that's the power of standards. That's the power of interoperability. That's the power of the large-scale deployments, what we have seen. So that's what we are here to cherish and here to celebrate, and also talk about what is the future for us. As people have already, the distinguished guests have already spoke about 7 and 8. We are working, and I am honored and privileged that I have been part of IEEE 802.11 writing those standards. So I had that privilege there, and I know how important and how well drafted and well done those standards are. We are talking about future. So as we go further, as we know that we are talking about higher bandwidth, higher data rate, speed, all other things, but there are other things also coming along with it. We are talking about AI coming within the standards also. It's not that the standards are there, the products are basically coming up with AI. Now people are talking about how we make our standards more smart so that those standards can be future-proof, and the future technology is what is going to use that Wi-Fi is also using something next generation. So those are things coming up. We are also talking here about broadband, the mobile hotspot. That also brings to our attention about the data security, because that's going to be a key challenge, and it's already a challenge where every day we see a lot of security threats, hacking and other things are happening. So that is also something which is coming up and which we are actively working on that. Coming back to this broadband. So broadband, we see in India, there has been deployments, and everyone spoke about it's not picking up. The reasons being it's not available, ubiquitous. You don't get the hotspot everywhere. So that's one. Second, you go and you connect to a hotspot, you don't get that throughput what you need, right? That's because maybe it's not designed for that many consumer at the same point of time. So there are a lot of those kind of issues are there. There are other issues of sustainability. Someone is putting a lot of money to deploy those hotspots. Are they getting the ROI? Is that viable? Now that's where we had some suggestion in terms of we in India, we are also not only PM Vani and other these kind of projects being rolled out. There are other projects also being rolled out like smart cities. Can these two get together? Can we have a lot of smart city application? We talked about 25-30 billions of IoT devices. Can we have some kind of a hotspot being used for those applications, which makes it more viable to put the hotspot on the first place, where this will make the hotspot more viable and more sustainable on its own, and that creates a pathway for future in terms of giving free services and other things. We can talk about that, but then there are other things also associated with it. For example, when we talk about smart cities, there are a lot of applications which we are talking is battery operated. Can the Wi-Fi be battery operated? Fortunately, yes, Wi-Fi can be battery operated. I myself have designed Wi-Fi chips in my past 10 years back, where we could achieve 10 years of battery life of a Wi-Fi chipset with 3.6 volt battery. So there is a possibility where all these IoT sensors can actually run on Wi-Fi chipset. So if there is a misconception that Wi-Fi drains a lot of battery, there are ways to handle those. So that's a good thing. The other things comes is when we talk about smart cities or these IoT applications, there are a lot of I would say, critical infrastructure segment applications, right? Now, when you talk about critical infrastructure, then comes the availability, the SLAs, the security, a lot of other things. So those are the things where the hotspot will evolve in future, I would say. For example, if the Railtel is deploying the hotspot in the your railway stations, can't all the railway station sensors be connected to the same things? Why do we need to have another communication infrastructure for those smart sensors where you already have a communication infrastructure, right? So that adds a lot of value, and the reasons of putting those hotspots in the first place, those giving access to the consumers can be added advantage on top of that. So we need to plan on those points. These are some of the things. Going forward, we are talking about cellular versus Wi-Fi, where cellular is penetrating more, Wi-Fi is penetrating less, and things like that. It cannot be just cellular, or it cannot be just Wi-Fi. It has to be a heterogeneous network. If you are getting inside your home, today you are getting your 4G signals, tomorrow you may not get the 5G. Because the 5G is running on very high frequencies, their range will be less, penetration will be less. You will be needing Wi-Fi actually more when you are going on 5G and 6G technologies on the cellular. So if the progress of cellular technology is faster, and if the Wi-Fi is not progressing at the same speed, we are going to have troubles. So we here we had people from regulatories, DOT, MIT, all people. We have a sincere request that this needs to be prioritized. If we don't prioritize, then we'll miss the bus. You will have some technologies up and on the higher pace, and some. Okay.
Recording in progress.
Okay. Mic is not. Okay, mic is back. Thank you, guys. Thank you. So, as I said, the regulatory requirements needs to be prioritized, because we don't want to be sitting on the back and saying that, okay, now 6G is there, 5G is there, where is my Wi-Fi? We are talking about, as Hiral from Meta spoke about, your VR, AR, those needs very high bandwidth. If you don't have that high bandwidth, once they push everything to the cloud for processing, how are you going to, the image what he took from from his glasses, the image has to be sent to the cloud, processed it, send the response back. Now all these has to happen in less than a second. Now to do that, we need that kind of a Wi-Fi infrastructure, right? So we need all these to be done on a high priority. So that is all I had on a very small note. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed, sir. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I have the privilege in inviting our distinguished keynote speaker, Mr. Paramjeet Singh Puri, who is the Global Director of Membership Wi-Fi Alliance. Let's put our hands together to welcome sir.
Yeah, I would need to be playing this beat. So, good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for coming back after the tea break. A big thank you to BIF and dignitaries on the dais and the lovely audience sitting over here patiently. We are going to speak about the World Wi-Fi Day, but very importantly, many of you may not be knowing that we are in fact celebrating the 25 years of Wi-Fi in this year, 2024. 2024 is the 25th year of the existence of Wi-Fi and the existence of the Wi-Fi Alliance, which owns the trade name of Wi-Fi. And we are very happy that, this year, we've been able to do that. In 1999, Wi-Fi was established as a communication technology, and we have come 25 years down the line. So Wi-Fi has left a very profound impact on the world, and transcending physical and geographical boundaries to connect people globally, encompassing communication and collaboration without limitations. And as we celebrate Wi-Fi's 25 years of innovation and impact, the Wi-Fi Alliance is very proud to highlight that Wi-Fi is not just a mere connectivity tool, but also encompasses economic, social, and technological dimensions. Let us play a quick short video to show that how Wi-Fi has come, from the beginning of 1999 to what it is today. Can we have the video, please?
In a world where connectivity is essential, one technology revolutionized our lives. 25 years ago, Wi-Fi emerged, liberating us from cables and unleashing the power of the internet. Wi-Fi granted us access to the world from anywhere. We could connect with people around the globe, stream entertainment, and access information instantaneously. Wi-Fi's impact on society is profound. It revolutionized industries, expanded communication, and spurred innovation, contributing trillions to the global economy. Education flourished and healthcare efficiency improved. Homes became smarter and safer. Businesses embraced flexible work and enabled greater employee productivity. Transportation segments delivered better passenger connectivity. Wi-Fi transcends boundaries, connecting people worldwide, fostering communication and collaboration on global initiatives. As we honor Wi-Fi's 25th anniversary, let us pause to marvel at its journey from humble beginnings to the cornerstone of modern civilization. For in its legacy, we find not just technology, but the promise of a brighter, more connected future for all.
Thank you.
सर वहीं से चलाना
Yeah, so that was a quick video, about, the importance of Wi-Fi as we have, moved, from 1999 to today, celebrating 25. If you notice a very, important fact, in the last slide, which showed up in the video, where it showed all the Wi-Fi's popping up all across the globe, you would have probably noticed that in India, we didn't have too many Wi-Fi's popping up. And there is a reason behind that here, because unlike the cellular technology or the IMT technology and the amount of progress, which 4G and 5G has made in our country, and we are talking about 6G, in India, unfortunately, Wi-Fi has taken a complete backseat here. And the main people who are responsible for this are our operators and the government to some extent here. But the operators are the main culprits. They have not, taken Wi-Fi on an even platform like the rest of the world has, whether it's the developed world or the developing world. All over the world, the operators, move hand in hand with the IMT technology and with the Wi-Fi technology in order to provide, the innovative solutions to its global audience. But anyway, today Wi-Fi has, exceeded beyond being just a mere connectivity tool. It's not just a local networking tool any longer. It is a catalyst for innovation. It is a catalyst for human progress, connecting people, devices, networks, and ideas like never before. And, it has made so much rapid advancements in performance, range, reliability, and security, and with 21 billion devices interconnected globally here. And the Wi-Fi Alliance is committed, is dedicated to delivering the similar kind of innovative solutions to make sure we give you enough features and solutions to enhance the user experience, which the Wi-Fi users have come to live with there. So please, we are very proud to ask everybody to join us in this very, very important connectivity milestone of 25 years of Wi-Fi in this year of 2024. So if you look at, we've been talking about the 6 gigahertz and the importance of opening up the 6 gigahertz in all the sessions, which we've been having, courtesy ITU APT, courtesy the Broadband India Forum, and we've been, telling the government of India that why it is very important to open up 6 gigahertz for Wi-Fi. One of the main reasons is that the 6 gigahertz is the only spectrum which is available, which can, allows for the capabilities required, to run today's new applications, which like friend from Meta, Hiral was talking about, so applications like AR, VR, XR, immersive, rich telepresence, immersive 3D training, industrial IoT, all these applications will only run on 6G because it is 6 gigahertz which provides the uncongested spectrum which is required for advanced use cases, with lower latency, high speeds, higher efficiency, higher density, and greater reliability. Without 6 gigahertz, we cannot proceed to the next levels of applications, and everybody in the globe will be a loser. And as again, like Hiral showed in his previous slides, that, more than 70 countries across the globe have already opened up 6 gigahertz, and other countries are looking at opening up 6 gigahertz, including our neighbor, Pakistan, has opened up 6 gigahertz for Wi-Fi. And we are still struggling to even decide, what needs to be done here. I think the opening of 6 gigahertz is very, very crucial for the world, including India. And we really pray to the Department of Telecom to look into this request of ours and to open up the 6 gigahertz here. This slide also was taken up by my friend from Meta. So this basically talks about, the rise in the 6 gigahertz Wi-Fi shipments and device shipments, with the device shipments reaching 1.2 billion devices in 2025 and going to soon touch 2.5 billion devices in 2028, with 576 million Wi-Fi 6E devices expected to ship in 2024, and 269 million Wi-Fi 7 devices expected to ship in 2024. So that is where we have come. But in India, the number is absolutely zero because the Indian government does not allow the shipments of 6 gigahertz Wi-Fi. So this slide is an old slide, which we show in a number of occasions just to highlight the fact, the importance of the economic value, which Wi-Fi generates for a country. And even for India, this study was done by the Wi-Fi Alliance 3 years ago. And I will not go read through it. You can go through it on its own. But we're talking about in this 2025, the economic value of Wi-Fi for India will be close to 240 billion. So if you look at, it is the importance of Wi-Fi is that it allows for digital inclusion for all at a low cost. It is the only technology, communication technology, which allows for digital inclusion for all at a very low cost here. Through economies of scale and utilization of unlicensed spectrum, we are able to reach each and every corner of Homestone, of the rural, urban, and those untouched areas where communication is still not available here. And this is just a small example of one of our member companies, HFCL, who has deployed over 40,000 hotspots in rural areas, giving them access to telepresence, remote learning, and government services. Wi-Fi 7, again, I'm talking about these technologies which are not available in India. But, unfortunately, there's nothing which I can do about it. We have been pushing the government, we have been pushing DOT, that they have to release the 6 gigahertz so that the power of 6E and Wi-Fi 7 comes into our own country as well. And the, applications, which Meta talked about, the applications, which other Google and other companies are talking about, and, rich telepresence, immersive 3D training, high definition streaming, other new applications which I'm going to talk about, they all come into our country also, yeah. So Wi-Fi 7 is actually today's Wi-Fi with lowest latency, high speeds of 30 to 40 gigabits per second, and greatest reliability of all the Wi-Fi, which has been introduced ever right from Wi-Fi 4, Wi-Fi 5, Wi-Fi 6, and today Wi-Fi 7. Yeah. And if you look at, the Wi-Fi 7 today, it is already touching 269 million device shipments that are going to happen in this year. And if you look at the Wi-Fi certified 7 shipments and the Wi-Fi certified 6E shipments, there are more than 1,300 devices, which the Wi-Fi Alliance has already certified for the 6 gigahertz Wi-Fi. And Wi-Fi 7 is the technology which will push the boundaries of Wi-Fi, for high definition streaming, for applications like AR, VR, XR, rich telepresence, emergency preparedness, and national broadcasting services, and all those applications which are there. Industrial IoT, home IoT, etc. And that the countries which have opened up 6 gigahertz, will experience the complete experience of Wi-Fi 7 and Wi-Fi 6E, and basically benefit from that. Yeah, the other countries will be left behind. Yeah. If you look at today's device segment, and when we talk against the IMT technology, the cellular technology, they always, they've been still pushing the government that no, please do not release the 6 gigahertz spectrum for Wi-Fi, auction it off for 5G and the next generation of technologies. But our question to them is, where is the ecosystem for 5G? Where is the ecosystem for IMT? Where is the equipment for IMT or cellular? There is no equipment, there is no ecosystem for cellular and IMT. And if you require to build up that ecosystem, it will require billions and billions and billions of dollars. Yeah. The Wi-Fi already has a thriving ecosystem for Wi-Fi 6E and Wi-Fi 7. Like I mentioned, we have already certified more than 1,300 devices in the 6 gigahertz Wi-Fi. And these are some of the examples of that, whether it's Samsung or the latest Apple iPhone phones or Nokia, or Huawei or TP-Link or, flagship smart devices or tablets. They're all Wi-Fi 6E or Wi-Fi 7 enabled. And it's not only that, this is my last slide, so just bear with me. I'm not just talking about applications like AR, VR, XR, industrial IoT, or rich telepresence or immersive 3D training. If you look at this next generation of applications which are resulting as a result of today's advanced Wi-Fi capabilities, artificial intelligence require huge amount of data to be processed. And the latest generation of Wi-Fi is well prepared to process those throughputs. Industrial IoT, the amount of vast data which is being collected from the factory shop floor. Only the Wi-Fi 6E and Wi-Fi 7 provides the low latency and reliability to make sure that the data can be processed. Extended reality, high definition, high bandwidth, high speeds, low latency are the requirements for XR, which Meta talked about, and that can only be available through Wi-Fi 7 or Wi-Fi 6E. Space, more Wi-Fi and space suits, HD helmet cameras, streaming video to the ground, extended high-definition camera inspections via Wi-Fi before re-entry. All these are very important for space missions to make the space missions safe. And these applications are already being utilized by NASA in USA and other countries with advanced space programs. So that is the power of Wi-Fi, and that is the power of Wi-Fi which India is missing out. And we have a lot of this information available in our public Wi-Fi, in our public website. You're most welcome to go to our public website and download this information over from there. So thank you very much, and have a great day, and thank you for being a wonderful patient audience here.
Sir, and now, ladies and gentlemen, I have the privilege in handing over to our chair and moderator of the session, Mr. Amarjeet Kumar. Over to you, sir, to kindly carry forward the proceedings of the panel discussion. And I would like to remind you, sir, you have 30 minutes for the panel discussion.
Thank you. So before we start the panel discussion, just a background. The topic of the discussion is enabler for the Wi-Fi proliferation in India. And we all know that the government of India had a vision for putting like 50 million public Wi-Fi by 2030. So what I have done is I I have prepared some set of questions based on the guest list I have. And I will go ahead and ask these questions and then have deliberations on those questions. And feel free to add any additional point or anything we want to discuss. So let the information keep flowing. We don't need to stick to any specific format or anything. So I would like to introduce our panel members here. We have Mr. Hiral Modi. He is from Meta. We all already heard him in the first session. So he is the technical product manager for wireless and carrier at Meta. He has like more than 16 years of experience, worked on various companies in past like Microsoft, LG, Motorola, and he is very passionate about working on various products, cross-functional teams, and various communication technologies like Wi-Fi and LTE. So thanks, Mr. Hiral, for joining us here. We have Mr. Paramjit Singh Puri. We just heard him here. He is representing here from Wi-Fi Alliance. Welcome, sir. He has been there for more than 6 years now, and in past he have worked on various organizations like AT&T, Cisco, Siemens, Compaq. So he have a vast range of experience and closely involved with the industry consortiums and alliances like FICCI and working with TRI and DOT. So he has vast area of experience in terms of dealing with how the whole industry works. So we would love to hear more from those perspectives from him. We have Mr. Bharat Bhatia from ITU APT. Welcome, sir. He has more than 47 years of experience in, he is the president of ITU APT. So he has worked on industry and even in government of India, in India, abroad. So he has vast range of experience. He has been part of the Motorola team in past. In India, Singapore. He has also managed the TEMA, the Telecom Equipment Manufacturing Association India, as its president. So welcome, sir. Even if I read the whole sentence, it may not be the complete information about you, so I'll skip it. We also welcome Mr. Kalyan Chakravarti. He's the head system engineering, India and SAC for Ruckus. Welcome, sir. Ruckus is a well-known wireless company, and he is very passionate, and he has been working on Wi-Fi for so long. So we would love to know more from Mr. Chakravarti on those aspects. So what I'll do is I'll ask few of the questions what I have created. So first question I have from Mr. Hiral. So one of the key enabler for Wi-Fi is the availability of delicensed spectrum. Is the bandwidth provided in existing, and we all know 2.4 and 5 gigahertz is adequate? What do you think? I mean, whatever you have demonstrated today, is that going to work on this, or is that going to be a blocker for the future generation products what you're working on? So what's your thought on that? Maybe I'll just go and sit with them and then start discussion.
Thank you. The applications today, or the ones that we're working on, should work with what we have. If there was one user, there was two user. What we're talking about is a classroom scenario where you have a classroom right here, there is a classroom next to you, there is a classroom above you, there is a classroom below you. Or you're talking about an enterprise use case where everybody are on a Wi-Fi. In those scenarios, we are seeing today that the current Wi-Fi that we have with 2.4 and 5 struggles because of the channel size that we have. Most of the deployment that we have done so far today, and I'm talking about worldwide, we use the 40 megahertz channel, because we don't have enough 80 megahertz channel when we go to 5 gigahertz. And those channels don't provide you capacity. We were at WRC, like I talked earlier, and they deployed this 5 gigahertz network, and it sucked. You know, you couldn't even download a song, or you couldn't have a conversation on the phone, on a WhatsApp. So when we talk about use cases, or when we talk about applications, if you do that in a mass today, it will be a problem, and it will be a problem tomorrow as well.
Just an Hello. Yes, just and follow on that. So now we are talking about Wi-Fi 6, the 6 gig coming in, and I know the toys what you showed us today. Everyone would love to kind of get their hands on it, and I'm damn sure that it is going to be a costly affair as of now. So how do you think that this is? I mean, when for us, for normal people, how do we reduce this cost? What kind of help the government of India can do? How this 6G is going to? So, just to sum up, how it is going to be available for the masses, and what help or what actions the government of India can take to in order to reach that stage. So,
Sure. Just to clarify the first point, he said it must be a costly affair. Those Ray-Ban Meta sunglasses are $299 US, which is roughly around 25,000 US rupees. If you go and buy Ray-Ban sunglasses today, it would cost you pretty much the same.
That I showed Quest 3, it's roughly around $500, which is sort of expensive. But if you talk about Quest 2, which is our lowest possible in terms of price point, is $299, again 25,000 US. But that's a very base version. As we go along, we have to increase the.
Thank you. As we move on, we know the technology has to evolve. The feature set has to evolve. The user demands will evolve. The different use cases that we have has to evolve. That means we have to upgrade our hardware. Like I explained, if I have to reduce the cost, if I have to reduce the form factor, if I have to reduce the size, what I need to do is I need to offload my compute. Right now, everything is happening on a device. The Quest 3 headset that I was showing you earlier is a standalone device, right? It doesn't connect to your phone, etc. It directly connects to Wi-Fi. Everything that you have is on there. I have a super powerful GPU to give you that high fidelity graphics. It has a very thick battery pack to give you the battery life that it needs. Now, if I want to reduce that, I have to offload the compute. Either I put it on the computer or I put it on the cloud. Cloud is the North Star. That's where the world is going. If I have a cloud, all I need is a dumb display. And when that scenario happens, the 6 gigahertz link will become the pivotal point. Because if I have my content on the cloud, in order for me to use that low latency, high bandwidth experiences, I must have that stronger link. Otherwise, we will have more people complaining, oh, this device doesn't work because I get dizzy. Like I said, the biggest culprit to make you dizzy is the latency. So in order for us to reduce the size or reduce the cost, we have to offload the compute. And that's where this 6 gigahertz spectrum is super important. And hopefully DOT and government can open at least the lower 500. I understand all 1200 may be a challenge. We have to do a little bit of more study and whatnot. But in order for us to get going with the ecosystem so that all these 6E, 7 devices start coming into India and use the potential of 6E, we should at least start with the lower 500.
thank you. Thank you very much for the detailed answer. I'll head to Mr. Kalyan. Mr. Kalyan, I know there are a lot of work being done in terms of AI and those aspects within Ruckus. You have already integrated a lot of AI components in your Wi-Fi things. So can you elaborate on that? I mean, how the customers are going to benefit on those AI components, what you are trying to build in your system or the products?
Yeah, thank you, Amajit. First of all, welcome to all, and honored and privileged to be here. On terms of AI, so probably a break from the 6 gigahertz you have been hearing since morning. So I'll come back to 6 gigahertz again, because that message should go to all. So that's the primary message today. AI from a industry representing OEM, I would say that 4% of all our networks are already AI managed, whether it is access points or routers or switches, or SD-WAN devices from my OEM perspective, but in general, overall industry, it is much higher. So the future is AI managed service assurance and AI managed networks. What this brings about is what we are aiming at probably is semi-autonomous networks, self-designed, self-governed, self-healed networks, which is not, I would say, futuristic, but already working and running to some extent. We are not yet there. We are getting there. But one feature which most of us, some of your esteemed customers have used is a digital twin, wherein we simulate a network. We simulate with multiple scenarios of let's say, a campus, and run through various models and come at the right design and even right OS and right patch for that. So, a digital twin is becoming more and more often used in AI-based networks. There are multiple features beyond that, but I think Wi-Fi 7, if I would just take a minute or so, 100% of all Wi-Fi 7 is AI-based for us. So it is AI-managed Wi-Fi 7, whether it is an AFC or it is cloud-based RRM. AFC, as you know, is the Wi-Fi equivalent of CBRS. Without AFC, 6 gigahertz probably would not work. It can work, but that was when AFC was got in. So I would say that the aim is to go into double-digit AI-driven networks and enhance the customer experience.
Okay, so one more follow-up questions, being representing the OEMs, and looking at the Wi-Fi, public Wi-Fi specifically happening in India, hotspots. What are the bottlenecks you see as a OEM in terms of how the growth is hampering, why it is not happening the quickly what we wanted it to happen? What is your take on that?
I would say from an OEM perspective, we are ready. From a product perspective, in fact, even if you take Wi-Fi 7 and beyond, 6E, initially we thought that Wi-Fi 6 would be costlier, Wi-Fi 5 is, but right now we know they're all getting at par. Wi-Fi 6E and 7 devices are also probably, I would not attempt to tell that, but they would be on par. So, and right, availability of indoor and outdoor and backhaul. From an OEM perspective, I think we are, I would say, ready on day zero. It's just that the amount of spectrum, the backhaul, the economic model of the whole public Wi-Fi. One thing what I have seen is we see public Wi-Fi is outdoor Wi-Fi. We immediately think of parks and roads and Muni Wi-Fi, which we used to do, the old WiMAX. We started off 20 years back. We have not reached, I would say, a stage where we can say most of the cities are having public Wi-Fi yet. Probably a small shift to even indoor Wi-Fi. When we say public indoor spaces too, maybe you can choose that first and make them Wi-Fi. Parallelly work on the outdoor Wi-Fi, because one of the problem with the outdoor Wi-Fi is the backhauls. So fiber can't be there in all the hotspots. 26 gigahertz, probably auctioning on June 25 for the telcos, as Puri sir said, and not for us for the Wi-Fi backhaul. 3.3 again used to be a WiMAX spectrum, can be used as backhaul, again being auctioned on the next June 25 for the 5G. So 2 spectrums you are lost there, and 6 gigahertz not yet open. So Wi-Fi backhaul to public hotspots, again, that's where we need to work on. And again, as I said, indoor public hotspots should be increased.
Great, thank you for that. I'll head to Mr. Bhatia. So, sir, you have been in this spectrum and all these industry for so long. So would want to hear, for goods of everyone, what is your take on, I mean, when you say licensed and unlicensed, which one is better? I mean, what is your take on that? I mean, how it changes the whole things?
Yeah, thank you very much. I think spectrum is something which is, as we call it, it's a very complex subject. It's lifeline of all the wireless services. So without spectrum, nothing works. And none of the spectrum decisions are easy. I've been working in the spectrum for the last 50 years. And still, I think I have yet to learn a lot. Spectrum is a very limited natural resource. So it is something which is there for everybody. But again, it is something which has to be exploited. If it is not exploited, it becomes unused and has no value. Its value is as long as it is used. And the same spectrum that we are all looking for is being sought by almost 35 various radio communication services. And all these services are wanting spectrum, which I think is what Wi-Fi is also looking for, which mobile operators are also looking for, which broadcasters are also looking for, which satellite services are also looking for. And all of these decisions are taken at a global level. So every 4 years we meet at some place on the earth for a matter of almost 45 days. And we work round the clock. Most of the times the meetings where the spectrum bands are discussed go almost like 20 hours. We were in Dubai in November, December last year, the famous World Radio Conference in Dubai, where I remember I left from the meeting at 3 a.m. and was back again at 8 a.m. For the next day. So these meetings are very complex and very, very difficult. I mean, there is a lot of debates that goes on in terms of who gets what spectrum. 6 gigahertz was one of the biggest issues at the last WRC. And it is something which is still not easy. This is a very, very contentious spectrum band. At stake is this 1200 megahertz, which starts from 5925 megahertz and goes up to 7125 megahertz. And there are many claimants. Some countries have taken advanced steps like USA, Canada, Korea, Japan, and have already de-licensed this 1200 megahertz for Wi-Fi. And that's why we are seeing these services that Meta has explained so nicely. In the WRC, we are not talking about this whole 1200 megahertz. In the WRC, the discussion was only on the upper 700 megahertz band. And that upper 700 megahertz band, 6425 to 7125, is the band which is sought by the mobile operators. And many countries, leave aside this 5-6 bigger developed countries, many developing countries are thinking that it is good to give that upper megahertz for mobile services through auction, because all these countries want money and auction brings money. The de-licensed spectrum brings economic value, it brings a lot of benefits to society, but it doesn't bring dollars to the regulators. So there is these two ends of the spectrum. One end, you can sell the spectrum and immediately make billions of dollars. The other end of spectrum, you can de-license it, do good for the economy, increase your production, increase your productivity, provide education, provide jobs, and do a lot of other things. And between these two, somewhere every government has to take a decision. Upper part of the spectrum that we are talking about is from 6425 to 7125. Many countries are thinking of either going with the mobile services, we call 4G or 5G or 6G, and not de-license. The lower part of the spectrum, which is 5925 to 6425, is something which should be de-licensed. I think many countries, almost every country around the world has already de-licensed. India has not. India is still debating whether that band can also be used for 5G services or those services, even though there is no global ecosystem available for 5G services. And this is something which will not get decided so soon. The discussions are going on. We have pushed to the government the importance of at least opening up the lower frequency band, which is 5925 to 6425, because that can create a lot of export opportunities. A lot of software can be developed. Even all the software that goes into AR and VR could be developed by a lot of Indian companies, and they could also do these goggles and AR VR sets and a lot of other things where Wi-Fi 6E can be installed. So it is possible, And I think government is also thinking in that direction, that they can possibly de-license the lower part of the spectrum, the lower 500 megahertz. Upper 700, it's still for a toss. Europe is going ahead and thinking in terms of sharing between Wi-Fi and 5G services, and that study has already started. In the last RSPG meeting, already there is a paper that is tabled how this can be shared between both the services. But in India, my experience tells me that this band, upper band, will go to the 5G. But I think the 4G, the lower 500 megahertz should immediately be de-licensed, and I think government is working in that direction. I hope that does.
Yeah, that really gives us a detailed insight on what's going on and how it is being done actually in the closed doors. So at least we get some glimpse of it. So just if as a BIF we have to give some recommendations to the government, and if we request you to give some advice on that, what, looking at all the deliberations we had for so far, what would be your advice to the government of India in terms of looking at the requirement, how heterogeneous technologies must be there, only 5G may not work. So looking at all the things, what would be your recommendations on this spectrum issue, sir?
Yeah, I think that's a great question actually. Look at what Supreme Court has said. I think in all of this equation, the Supreme Court judgment saying that spectrum can only be given through auctions has to be interpreted a little bit more liberally. We have to understand in what context Supreme Court said that spectrum cannot be given except by auction. I think their context was that when you give it to the mobile operators. De-licensed spectrum has a very important role in the society. And I think we have to convince, myself included and BIF included, we are all to convince the government that de-licensing spectrum is good for the economy, it has to be done, and it has to be done at the earliest possible. So my take and my advice to BIF and to all government would be, let's immediately open the lower 500 megahertz band. That I think is a straightforward, there's no other way. We took 15 years for opening up the 5 gigahertz band. Remember when it was done in the US under the NII, and when we did it in India, it almost 15, 16 years later. We don't want to repeat that and take another 15 years from when the US delicensed the 6 gigahertz band and when we delicense 6. We want to do it now. So I think my advice to the government, to BIF and to everybody would be, let's immediately delicense the lower 500 megahertz band. For the upper band, we do need to carry on for more studies. RSPG in Europe is doing some studies. We can join those studies. Satellites have a major interest in that band. So sharing between satellites, Wi-Fi and IMT is doable. CBRS is a great example in the US where they have all the 3 services. So some kind of a technology answer to sharing between Wi-Fi, IMT and satellite services might become feasible in the upper band. But let's not wait for that. Let us open the lower band immediately. That would be my take on it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Coming back to Mr. Puri, so suppose we get this 6 gigahertz spectrum, 6G, what we are looking for. How prepared we are in terms of the ecosystem? How quickly we can, the local ecosystem, we are talking about Make in India and other stuff. So how is our local ecosystem, global ecosystem, how prepared we are to kind of do any kind of a rollout product or things like that whenever we get the spectrum?
Yeah. Thank you for the question. But before that, I just want to apologize to the audience. I believe the audience could not see my slides when I was presenting. So I apologize on behalf of both BIF and on behalf of the Wi-Fi Alliance that you were not able to see my slides. I wish that the BIF will make my slides available to all of you, because some of the slides were very important and they contained a lot of information, which the audience should be able to have been seen about it. So sorry about that. Yeah, coming back to the question, the 6 gigahertz Wi-Fi ecosystem is already ready. There exists a healthy device infrastructure of flagship smartphones, phones from companies like Samsung, Apple, Motorola, some of the high-end Chinese vendors like Vivo, Xiaomi, OnePlus, etc. All of them are giving 6 gigahertz Wi-Fi. Laptop manufacturers, tablet manufacturers, XR, VR, AR, the handsets manufacturers like Meta, Google, Apple, etc. All of them have 6 gigahertz ecosystem and devices ready for deployment. The only issue is that, like I mentioned in my presentation also, that India has not yet opened up the 6 gigahertz spectrum. And till the time we do not open up the 6 gigahertz spectrum, that ecosystem is useless for India, and we're not going to get the benefit of the socio-economic benefits which is available. Yeah, so that will not be able to, available for India. And the other point which I like to mention over here is that, everybody of you should realize that only 1 to 3% of the data, which is transferred all across the globe, it gets transferred or gets transmitted through the mobile networks. The rest, 97% of the data is transmitted through wireless networks, with Wi-Fi accounting for 70% of that data. And hence, the ecosystem is there, but the spectrum is not there. So we are ready anytime. India is missing out. Rest of the world is already making use of the benefit.
Great to know that. One last question from you is basically from Wi-Fi Alliance perspective, how is the preparedness from the standardization, certification, and how we are prepared for the Wi-Fi 7, because that is also very, it's not very far. So how we are prepared, the ecosystem what we have around the Indian OEMs and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, thank you. So Wi-Fi 7 was launched in the CES 2024 in January of this year. And today it is already reaching a stage of mass market adoption. And this version of Wi-Fi, the Wi-Fi 7, is going to exceed the adoption rate of all previous generations of Wi-Fi. So that is where we have already 269 million Wi-Fi 7 devices are going to get shipped out in 2024, this year itself. So we are already, that Wi-Fi 7 is already out there in the market. The economies of scale are already working for it. As far as the Wi-Fi Alliance is concerned, when we launched CES in January, we launched the Wi-Fi certified Wi-Fi 7. So we are already ready with the certification program. And we have already certified more than 1,300 devices for Wi-Fi 6E and Wi-Fi 7 in the globe so far. So everything is ready. Only thing which we are waiting for in some countries, including for India, is, again, I repeat, that opening up of the 6 gigahertz spectrum, because in India, in fact, there has been news that the Cellular Operator Association of India has asked DOT not to even allow shipments and purchase of Wi-Fi 6 gigahertz equipment. In fact, there were some companies who were trying to get 6E equipment into India, and the COI went to the Department of Telecom and complained, that why is that those shipments allowed to be happen? Yeah. So that is the kind of situation where we are living in today.
Thank you very much. I think we are sort of time now. I have been asked to kind of finish this, conclude this. We did not get time for questions from the audience, but we are here. Even after wrapping up this, we will be around. Feel free to ask any questions. I know that I have tried to capture the questions, but I know that doesn't answer all of your questions, but we all are here. Feel free to come and ask us. We will be happy to answer that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much indeed, sir. And I would request Mr. Debashish Bhattacharya, Senior DDG BIF, to kindly do the honors of presenting mementos to our eminent panelists. We present to our session chair and moderator, Mr. Amarjeet Kumar, founder and CEO, Compinent Private Limited. Thank you very much indeed, sir. We present to our eminent keynote speaker, Mr. Paramjeet Singh Puri. We are honored to present a small token of gratitude to Mr. Bharat Bhatia, President ITU APT. Thank you, sir. And we present to Mr. Kalyan Chakravarti, Head Systems Engineering, India and SAC, Ruckus. Thank you. And may I invite our panel together with Mr. Debashish for a group photograph before we proceed for lunch. So ladies and gentlemen, we now break for lunch. The lunch is for exactly 35 minutes. We begin the proceedings of the next session sharp at 2 o'clock. We request everybody to kindly be back and seated in time. The next session will commence at sharp 2 o'clock. Thank you.